Guys, don't buy a house that you have to completely redo, okay? Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're at the property and we are going to attempt to rip out the old subfloor, if you want to call it that, because it's like particle board. And then we're gonna try to put in the new subfloor. And Autumn actually wants to turn this into kind of a arts and crafts studio room. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So here is the project. And I threw this piece of plywood on there because underneath there, you can see there's a big old hole that just goes right down underneath the house. There's actually some underlaying like fabric that's underneath this house, so that's why you can't see to the bottom. But yeah, this is like the particle board stuff I was talking about. It looks like it got wet and just kind of got deformed. So yeah, I'm gonna rip out all that. Over here actually you can see there's a crack here. You can see all the way to the ground out there. So another thing I might do is rip down this paneling, depending on if I need to, you know, have the bottom ripped out to get the subfloors in. But if not, we might just paint that or something, because just trying to save money on this if she's just gonna use it as a crafts room. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be working on today. And hopefully I don't fall through this floor. All right guys, so now I'm going to have to clean this up a lot and then get all these staples out. But I got this tool right here, which you just put it on there and pull it and the staples come right out. So that'll help, but we got a lot of work ahead of us, so we're gonna just do it. All right, so we actually took down this wall here to open up this room a little bit. Over here, that's where the water heater is, so I left that wall up just so we can enclose that. But we ripped out all the floors. I cut out all that stuff underneath. We still have to get a lot of these staples on these beams out and then start putting in the new subfloor, probably start in the corner there. And we took off all the paneling as well. Over here there was no insulation, but you can see it's made out of like a 1x4, so it's not, I mean, it's a mobile home at the end of the day. But we just got to get some new insulation, some new paneling, put the floors in. Might replace the windows since everything else is out right now, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. These windows aren't too bad, so I might just leave those. As you can see, just got to get a lot of nails out of these beams and then put in the new floor. All right, so I didn't show this in like a time lapse or anything, but I'm gonna just show you guys everything we've done so far. We actually went through and put all these blocks here, and that was because they actually, how they built this is they put the plywood down first, or it wasn't even plywood, it was like particle board or something stupid. They put the wall on top of it. So obviously we can't go through and dig all that out. It's just gonna be a pain. So we put all these blocks there. So we're just gonna nail everything to those, but they're still attached to the joist, so it still should support. And then right here, this is what I'm gonna do now, is actually take a Sawzall cut along this edge here and just cut this whole board out. So I'm gonna show you guys that. So that's what I'm gonna do now. And then hopefully we can just put the plywood down after that point. We went through and ripped out all the staples, and even on the walls where they had the paneling, they had so many staples on it. I was like, I should just replace this whole 1x4. I mean, you can kind of see here, all those marks, there was staples. So at first I was ripping out all the staples, and I just started pounding them in because I'm like, it's just paneling at the end of the day. So you don't want to get too carried away. But yeah, so now I'm gonna cut this board out, and then hopefully we'll be ready to lay the plywood. I guess I'm gonna try to just get it up with a crowbar. Rocky suggested doing it with the Sawzall just along here, but maybe first I can just get this whole piece up, and then it'll be easier to cut. So right now there's nowhere for me to even get started. We'll just hope this doesn't pull up this entire wall. That would be our luck. You can see that whole joist is moving, so. All right, so in the last clip, I was trying to get this board up and then I was gonna cut it with the Sawzall, but for a guy my size, it's hard for me to just like stand on these beams and work. So what I'm gonna actually do is try to throw in some of this subfloor as far as I can go, because that's all ready to go pretty much. And then I'm just gonna be able to have a better surface to work on to pop up the rest of the subfloor. All right, so we're gonna go 44.5 here. Also found this on a hauling job. All right, let's see if we did that right. This saw does that. Okay, we gotta just be careful on that lip because we don't want to damage that. Okay. So now what we want to look for is to make sure this is halfway. And remember down here, it was a little off, so that's why we're gonna just move that out a little bit. And we'll have a little bit of a gap here, but there's boards here and this will all get covered by the quarter round. So overall, it looks pretty good, but we gotta just put down some like liquid nails. We got this Gorilla Glue, so that'll be the next step. It's out there on the porch. All right. Now remember right here, we wanted to bring it out just a little bit. We're gonna push it forward a little bit too, it looks like, before this glue settles too much. Ugh. It's very fast. All right, that should be good. All right, so now what we're gonna do is take our nail gun and just nail every 5 to 6 inches along these beams. I'm not gonna nail along this beam because we actually have to stick the other piece of plywood in there and then we'll nail along that beam. But all these other ones we'll just nail, so then we have somewhere to work off of in this room. It might seem like it's overkill, but this is how you get those squeaky floors. So that's why, you know, you want to put as many nails as possible. And we put the glue down first, which will hopefully help with the squeakiness. Time to get rid of these boards over here if you want to show them that. And then we got to pull out all these staples and we have to measure to see if 48 inches will come out on that beam. So that's going to be the next step. All right, we got this other part out. I just got to pull out all these nails. Not a carpenter. Jesus was a carpenter. All junk for a living. All right, are you still recording? Alrighty, so why are you recording me like this?
What do you got to say to the fan base?
Guys, don't buy a house that you have to completely redo, okay? All right, now we're gonna rip along this side. All right, we got that board cut, so now we're just gonna go see if it fits in there and then do the same thing, glue and nail it down. All right, we're just gonna nail this board in. Fits pretty good. All right, and once again, we're not gonna nail into here until we get our next piece in. So what we wanna do is stagger these pieces. So next, I'm gonna have to take a measurement to see what I wanna do here, but we're gonna actually knock out this entire wall as well, right there. And there's a water heater that's gonna go there eventually. But first, we're gonna put this piece in down here. All right, now we're gonna just nail this one in. Now what some people do, they'll actually take like the square I was using out there, the T-square, and they will make a line that matches up with their joist, and that's just so you don't misfire. All right guys, so now we are gonna dry fit this in first. We got a hole right here for our vent. I just gotta move it down a little bit. Gotta glue and do the whole process. So it looks like it's gonna be pretty good. I actually just measured this instead of the wood around it, but I know that there's wood around this four corners there, so that should work fine. And so now I think I'm gonna just take this out, glue it, and then this room's almost done. We got a lot more to do over here. I need to put another board along there, and over here there's nothing to nail into, so that's gonna be another process as well. And then this is where the water heater comes in, so that's why I cut it like the way we did. So then this last piece will be its own piece, and we're gonna have to just cut that as we go. Whether we wanna just rip all that out and start new, I'm not sure yet. So that's why that's gonna be its own separate piece. So yeah, so now we're just gonna get this piece in. All right, so a few minutes ago I said you could actually take your T-square and mark. So I'm just gonna try to make it as close to the middle as possible and just that's just so now I know where my line is, and I'll definitely hit the joist. There's some plumbing and stuff over here, so it only takes a few seconds. If you're not used to doing it, this is a good way to make sure. This is a really cool gun to have too. It actually uses like a butane tank, but I don't have to have an air compressor or anything. And obviously I'm not going super fast, but for me, this thing comes in handy. All right, so we got this subfloor in, and now we can either cut a piece right here, a small piece, or try to go underneath this wall from this bathroom. So what I'm gonna try to do is rip out everything in this bathroom and try to get that subfloor to go underneath that wall. All right guys, so it's actually been months since the last clip. As you can see, we got this completely tore up right now. I just started putting a whole new layer of plywood over there. But yeah, so we got basically the whole backside done. You see we ripped out some of these walls as well. This was the bathroom. This was the kitchen at one time, and that's the living room. I'll try to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. It was a lot of tearing out for all this subfloor. You can see here there was layers. There was like 3 layers of stuff, and that's all original. And it was like particle board, so it did not come up in like big pieces. And all that insulation I've been knocking down there. We got to go down there and rake all that. So it's a big project. That's why it's been a minute since I've been over here doing it. Just been putting it off, but we actually were laying it this way, long ways, going with the joist, because that's how they had it when we came here. But I actually realized now that it's better to go this way against the joist. So now that's how we're doing it from here on out. So I don't think it's gonna make a big deal. We're gonna put some mud or something in there to fill that gap. I gotta come through, fix these ceilings eventually. I'm gonna build a whole new wall right here, and then we're gonna put maybe an island in a kitchen. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do yet. Really, I'm just trying to get the subfloor in first, and then kind of as we go, we'll figure out exactly what we want to do. Hopefully we get the subfloor done soon. I'll show you an updated version when I got it all down. And then from there, we'll figure out if we want to do the plumbing next or build the wall and put the paneling up. So some of this paneling needs to be done as well. You can see back there, we ripped off all the paneling. And then all the light fixtures are going to be changed, all new windows, doors, pretty much a complete remodel. The plywood right now is expensive too. It's like $49 a sheet. So I don't know if that's going to go down or go up. I thought I was paying like $39 or $29, but yeah, it was 500 bucks for 10 sheets. So I'm gonna put these 10 sheets in and then we'll go from there. All right guys, so we started ripping this up behind here. This is where the kitchen and sink was. This was all moldy. There was actually drywall back there and it was completely covered with black mold. I didn't get a video of that because I just tried to rip it out and get out of here as soon as possible. But now we kind of brace this wall because this whole board down here is all completely rotted. So we're gonna have to pull that whole board out and replace it. So just another thing we ran into, and then we're gonna continue trying to get this floor put in. As you can see, we've just been knocking off the floor because it's like that particle board and throwing it down there. So I have to actually get down here with the rake and rake all that stuff out. But here's something else we found, that this pipe right here, you can see, is just open. So I don't know what that's about either. We're gonna have to cap that off or something. Not sure what that was all about. But we found out we are probably gonna tear down this entire wall. I think it'll just be easier than trying to go underneath it. And you can see this room already, there's holes. I mean, right here where the window is, you can see water's getting in. I think we're probably gonna end up ripping down this whole wall, that whole wall, and this whole bathroom. Really, I think everything's gonna come out of here too, and we're just gonna start fresh. So yeah, we're gonna do that and I'll show you an update. All right guys, here's the finished product here. We put a new plate in there all beneath that wall, and then we've actually put in some pieces of plywood now too. We're getting pretty far now, so we have to just finish putting in pieces here and here. But right here was where the wall was, so that wall's gone. I took that down and I started tearing up the floor out of here. We moved all that stuff that was in here out. You can see the two holes over there and the wetness under that window still. But I just ripped out this wall too, and I wanted to show you guys. I mean, we're ripping out this whole bathroom like I said, but look at what was underneath here. This is literally what it looked like. I didn't do that. So there was a huge hole underneath this. So it's a good thing we are tearing all this out, because you never know, you know, who did what before you. So it's always a good idea to just double check those things. I probably could have looked underneath as well, but this whole place just needs a remodel. And obviously something built a nest there, and it easily got up in there from under there. So that's just another thing. And then you can see here, we're gonna tear this up. You can look into the closet there, but this whole wall is coming down, and this floor, I mean, look at that. It's not good. But we're gonna rip all this out too. Looks like they replaced one part there, but it all needs to be done. As you can see, I mean, I think we're 50% done, if not more. This next cut is gonna be a little interesting. It's got two vents in it, and these vents actually all need to really be replaced as well. As you can see, that's all kicked in and that's all pushed down. I'm just gonna push it back up. We have the inserts for those. They're these. I mean, these just look like they could be replaced too. I don't know how much these are at Lowe's. We're probably gonna get new ones of those and bring that back up. I've been sweeping this off as we go. I just don't like having stuff down there. Like I said, I gotta have somebody come in and get all this stuff out. It's probably gonna be me, obviously. But that's gonna be a different day, because the demoing, like I said, is just so difficult on this, because look, it comes up in little pieces. If it was all nailed in and if it was old plywood, it would have came up a lot easier. So I do not suggest ever remodeling these mobile homes. If I could afford to build new, that's probably what I would have did. But since it was on the property, I thought it was gonna be a cool project, but everything is gonna probably have to be redone in here. These we're gonna probably spray down with bleach, hopefully kill whatever's there. They're actually still sturdy, but kill all the black mold if it was on there, and paint over that or something. But really, I don't know if we're gonna be able to save any of this paneling. I'm hoping we can save the ceiling. This part doesn't look bad yet, so we'll see. And I went up on the roof, and the roof isn't too bad, so we just gotta seal it again. Obviously, our first mission is completing this subfloor, which hopefully will be done in the next couple of days. I've actually been working on this now probably a total of 5 days, but I actually started way back in March when we bought the place. We bought it in February, I did it in March, and then now it's January of the following year. So it's been a minute, but we're getting it done. So I'll give you guys an update once we get more of this floor put in. All right, guys, we are finally done with this subfloor. Thank God. It was a nightmare, but it's over. So I'm gonna show you guys everything that we did. So here is that wall that we ripped out, and that was a bedroom. Back here was the bathroom, and this was the closet. We got it all in here. I kept that toilet drain. It was just easier. It ended up, the plywood was right on the edge there. And we gotta come through now and fix all these vents. I'll show you guys that in a minute. All the floor is done in here now, and I think it all is pretty good, pretty sturdy underneath and everything like that. We glued it all down, so won't have those squeaky boards. Like I said, we just gotta come and fix these vents. So I'll show you guys. That'll be the next thing we do. I don't know if I'll get any video of that, but here are the vents. These actually were like 16 bucks a piece, which just hurt my soul a little bit because there was 8 of them. And then these are actually to make these longer, because if you look, there's a 2x6 down there. It has to go up higher than normal. But yeah, my main concern with this house was the subfloor, because that was just such a nightmare with that particle board, and I can't stress that enough how much of a pain that was. I actually went underneath and raked everything out. So it's all over, and now, like I said, I want to work on those vents next. And I'm gonna show you guys the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna destroy all this paneling throughout here. So if you remember, I showed you guys where the kitchen sink was. We actually replaced this board, this plate underneath, and we found there was some mold here. This is the only spot in the house that had drywall. So I'm probably not gonna put drywall back. I think there's a special drywall you're supposed to use for kitchens and baths and stuff like that. But I really want to just rip out all this paneling. I'm gonna get new windows and doors. I just measured those up, and I'm gonna try to get a price on those, because some of these windows are broken, so the water is just gonna come in and destroy my subfloor, which will not be good either. That's the next thing I'm gonna do, is rip out all the paneling, make sure all the insulation's good and stuff. I found a couple beehives and stuff in there, so I'm gonna make sure all the insulation's good, and then we're gonna do all new paneling. But I'm gonna do the windows, the doors, and these vents. The roof I think is intact. I'm gonna just seal that again. The outside paneling, the metal paneling or siding, that all needs to be attached real good so no animals or bugs or insects can get in there and make nests or whatever. But yeah, so pretty much this was the main thing. And then, you know, the next thing we got to do now, because I actually ripped out all these walls to make it easier, is we're gonna have to build all new walls, and I'll probably get all new electrical outlets. I just don't like how those ones are, but we're gonna have to build a wall, frame in our tub. We're kind of just have to figure out exactly how we want the layout of this. As you can see, it's kind of storage, but this is stuff I get from jobs that I can actually use inside of this house once it's complete. I mean, that mattress looks a little dirty, but I have equipment to clean it and everything like that. My wife paints furniture. I'm trying to convince her to do a whole nother YouTube channel on that, but that's another story. But this is just all stuff that I have posted on eBay. Can't stress enough how much and what a sigh of relief it is to get this subfloor finally done. But it's all done, and we're just gonna keep going at it. Hopefully we can turn this into like an Airbnb or a rental property, or I might just keep it for family members. We're in South Carolina, but all my family is from Michigan, so it's a place where they could come down, and we're gonna really get that pond cleaned up and stuff. It'll just be a nice place we can all hang out. Like I said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button. If you have any questions about things we did or any tips or anything like that, just leave a comment and we'll get back with you guys. So have a good one.